Good morning. Um, let's see. This canvas isn't going to be long enough. Whatever. Give me just a moment. I meant to look at some of my information before I started. But then I got caught up in something. So anyway, today we are talking about Hawkstar. Let me turn down the music. I'm a professional here. Turn down the music here too. There. Excuse me if my voice sounds off. I don't know what's going on. Just a little nasally today. Anyway, let's get sketching this weirdo. He's probably gonna get a pretty big redesign. Cause if for nothing else, I want him to just look a little less like Tiger Star. Like if you didn't see his name, would you think that this was an OC? Or would you think, hey, cool, cool Bramble Star you got there? Let's maybe draw on a layer that isn't already occupied. This is why we're going to change Hawkstar up a little, because he is, at the very least, I don't like I don't like this design anymore. And it's got elements that I have since then decided not to add. Like the little fire mark he has on his head. Originally, all the leaders were gonna have leader marks, but I never liked. I'm not great at drawing a star freehand, and I just couldn't make it look right. So I was like, okay, then I'll do something else. So like he got a flame, and he got a heart, and she was supposed to get. She gets a feather, but she didn't get it on her head for some reason. I don't remember why I did that. But I've since decided that that's too much trouble. And also doing that kind of clashes with the gifted cat's mark. So 'tis a thing no longer. Fun facts in designing. I'm gonna wait for a few other people to join before I actually start talking about this guy's lore, of which he's got quite a bit. Hopefully it shouldn't be too long before some other people join, so. Alright. And fun fact, he is the only character of mine that I have ever given facial hair. It just felt right. For this guy to have a weird little goatee. If no one shows up in the next, no one else shows up in the next, minute, I'll just start talking anyway. I don't want to wait too long. Okay. Trying to decide how long to make this guy's ears. Oh god. I hate when that song shows up. I need a new playlist. Or a new background music. Okay, I'll just start yapping. And people can get caught up when they show up. So let's start at the beginning. This guy is MoonClan's leader for the first half of Echoes. For reasons he's not in the second. Anyway, he was born to MoonClan's leader, Bearstar, and his mate, Mothbelly. Hi, Icy. We were just getting started. And he had a pretty normal childhood. But during a raid of uh, Eclipse Clan, or during some kind of battle, I don't remember, it's been a while. Unfortunately, his mother passes away in the battle. And this is part of Bearstar and Hawkstar's their relationship to Eclipse Clan. But anyway, Hawkstar was pretty spoiled by his dad. He was allowed duties long before he should have been, just because he asked for them. He almost immediately after being named a warrior, got himself an apprentice. I don't like these. And most of his apprentices just aren't great. They're not amazing warriors or anything. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. My throat. I hope I'm not getting sick. Anyway. As I said, this guy gets very spoiled by his dad. And that continues his entire life because he is eventually made the deputy of Moon Clan. Even though he was very young and pretty unqualified. Sorry, these eyes are messing with me. Whatever. Let me think. I don't remember who his mentor was. Let me see if I have that in my notes. Oh. Nepotism is essentially um, when you're given privileges because of uh, who your parents are. So, like, a rich person being allowed to break a law because they're, or a person being able to break a law because their dad's a lawyer. Uh, that's kind of what nepotism is. Uh, let's see. Okay, I can't find his mentor. Or I did, but his mentor is listed as um, Bear Star, which is not correct. But also, this list is so old that his father is not listed correctly either. It's fine, whatever. So where were we? He was made deputy not long after, um, becoming a warrior and finishing the training of his first apprentice. Um, and not long after that, uh, he becomes leader. Um, whatever. And once he becomes leader, he chooses one of his good friends as his deputy. Oh my god, give me a sec. Very sorry, I'm all stuffy. It's making it hard to talk. Anyway. Where was I? Okay, so he made one of his friends, what's his name? I think it's Golden Fang. Let me check really quick. He's an average leader. Yeah, Golden Fang. He's not great. Um, he is still very much uh, a spoiled brat, but he at least cares. He cares for a while. He cares about his clan and making sure that it's thriving, or it's at least surviving. Um, that all kind of changes. I'll talk about. I forgot to talk about his childhood sweetheart. Um, so along with Golden Fang, um, who was actually an older apprentice, but ended up befriending uh, Hawkpaw. He also made friends with a cat named Shadowpaw. Was Bearstar a good leader? Bearstar was, again, an average leader. Um, he was pretty. Was really prideful. Um, he sometimes chose his own feelings over what would be best for the clan. But overall, if you asked cats that lived in under Bearstar's leadership, they would say he was a good leader. Where was I? Right. So, along with Golden Fang, Hawkstar befriended a cat named Shadowpaw, and it was clear, it was pretty instant, their attraction. Do I use a drawing tablet? I do. I have the XP pen. I don't remember what version I have right now. But yes, I do use a drawing tablet. It's unfortunately not one of those fancy ones with the screen. It's just a pad. Oh my gosh. My voice. Where was I? Right. So, he and Shadowpaw, later Shadow Sky, were essentially childhood sweethearts. And right after he became leader, they had a litter of 3 kits. They had Morning Kit, Osprey Kit, and Moon Kit. Now, I want to explain that Sun, Moon, and Eclipse are not very popular names in the clans. Mostly because some cats see it as a little disrespectful to the clan leaders or the clan founders to try and name someone after them. Being used as a suffix is not as frowned upon, but it's usually a thing that cats try not to use. Sun, Moon, or Eclipse. But Hawkstar thinks his children are super special. He just loves his daughters. and he decides that as the leader of Moon Clan, he can do whatever he wants. So he names one of his daughters Moonkit. His granddaughter, Cherry Belly, does end up also doing something like this, but less in a look how important my child is, I'm gonna name them after the clan, and more, I love my child and I love my brother, so I'm gonna name my kid after the clan he loves. I'm of course talking about Sun Mask, who I've talked about before, on DA, but, he's not on Toy House. Despite the, like, 3 or 4 times I've drawn him, he just doesn't have an official design yet. Anyway, tangent over. Back on it. So, they are a happy family, for a while, until all of a sudden, Shadow Sky gets very sick. She collapses in camp one day, and the healers can't figure out what's going on. And then she seemingly gets better. And let me think. She seemingly gets better, and so Hawkstar cautiously lets things go back to a seeming normal, but then her health dips again, and by the time their kits are apprenticed, Shadow Sky is on her final days. And her death shakes Hawkstar fundamentally. After this, he is no longer the same cat. He kinda breaks a little. Also, the reason Sun Mask isn't up there yet is because, I forgot. I have a full body design of him. It's old. And also at some point I switched his and his brother's names. But, I'll put them up at some point. Anyway, where am I? Right. Hawkstar kind of crashes out. His daughters try to help him out a lot. Because they're shocked and they are affected by their mother's death as well. Though Moonpaw and Morningpaw show it the most. And Osprey Paw seemingly seems to not care, but it's a facade. She just wants to seem tough. Um, when in reality, she is probably hurting the most. Um, and they all try to comfort their father, but there's little that you can do, or little that they can do, because eventually the clan moves on, but Hawkstar does not. Um, he is extremely uh, rattled by his mate's death for his entire life. But Moon Clan is a clan of um, they have high stature. Oh, I'm sorry, Leo. I wish you didn't have to go. Um, like I said, the VOD will be up, so I don't delete these streams after I do them. So have a good day, though. Thank you for watching. Let's see. Anyway, Moon Clan, is big into status. Um, and so a leader without a mate, it's fine for a while, but cats talk. And having an unstable leader, who's still griping about his mate, they're not always the most tactful cats. And so Hawkstar, hearing this and mostly feeling bad for how his daughters are being affected by the gossip. I need to extend my canvas. Okay, see ya, Icy Drift. Have a good day. See ya on what day is it? Monday. Anyway. So he tries to find a mate, mostly so his daughters are not brought down. Well, thank you for staying. Let's see. Right. So he tries to connect with pretty much any Molly in the clan. Um, his first try was with a cat named Roseleg, I believe. Um, but they just didn't connect. So then his first real connection with someone that was not Shadow Sky was a cat named Foxstream. She kind of idolized Hawkstar and was extremely happy when he asked her to be his mate. And she dreamed of their life together and them having a family. And when she announced that, or when she found out she was having kits, she was extremely excited. Hawkstar was distant, but she tried not to let that get her down. But she finally crumbled when her kits did not make it, and Hawkstar seemingly didn't care. Mostly because he unfortunately didn't care. He didn't really, despite accepting Foxstream as his mate, he didn't really connect with her. And he, of course, was still hung up on Shadow Sky. And so, after this whole thing, they broke up. And Hawkstar once more looked for a mate. And the next cat that he ended up calling his mate was a cat named Frostheart. And this is closer to the beginning of Echoes. The Foxstream situation was like a year or two before. So Frostheart ended up, she had a mate from an outsider mate. He was a rogue. And another thing MoonClan is big about is their hatred of rogues. Kitty pets are like more tolerated than rogues, but still they are very much in the belief that kitty pets are weak and that rogues are snakes. And that MoonClan cats should not be should just not be interacting with cats outside of the clans. But Frostheart ended up getting pregnant. And though she broke up with her mate, cats were asking no, that's not right. That's a different cat. No, she was caught meeting her mate by, I think, Osprey Storm. Who of course is a daddy's girl, and she immediately tells her father what she's seen. And Hawkstar, who I have to remind is not a good person, it's great. Anyway, so Hawkstar, seeing an opportunity, essentially blackmails Frostheart into becoming his mate, mostly by name, mostly in name. And he's essentially like, pretend to be my mate, or act as my mate, or I will tell everyone who the father of your kids are, or is. And the original plan was for her to say that the kit was Hawkstar's, but she went against him with that. He wants a mate for status. Because some of the older MoonClan cats are talking about how their leader doesn't have a mate. Also, he's just kind of trying to fill the void. Oh my god. Sorry for the dogs. But, so the original plan is for Frostheart to announce that Hawkstar is her mate and the kit's father. But she goes against this and instead chooses a cat who had passed not long before she showed signs of being pregnant, Pebblefur, as her supposed mate. And it ended up working out because her kit, Ash Kit, ended up looking a lot like Pebblefur. And though she feels bad about having used a dead cat to cover up the fact that she was disloyal, quote unquote, to the clan, things seemed to go smoothly. Hawkstar didn't seem too upset that she changed their plans. And they kind of just continued as they were, just using the title of mate for each other. And this is essentially where Echoes begins, as I said. Because Ash, Spring, and Nettlepool are very close in age. Um, so, yeah. Anyway, so they continue with their pretending. Hawkstar is just kind of leading his clan, um, until he has another shakeup because the same mysterious illness that his mate had died from, uh, his daughter, Mourning Dove, so, his daughter Mourning Dove suddenly collapses in camp, and it is determined that it is that same illness that took out Shadow Sky. And he's hoping that she can make it through, and he is pestering the healer Sand Swirl all the time. And I have to let my dogs out. Give me a moment. They like to be very disruptive. I don't have a name for the illness. I'm trying to even decide if it's like a real illness or if I've purely just made it up. I mean, I have made it up, but I don't know if it matches to a real illness. But no, I have not thought of a name for it yet. I really should because it's. Oops. Ignore that. It's pretty important. The illness itself is very important to Nettlepool's story. Because he encounters it twice. Not himself getting it, but yeah, it needs a name. Anyway, where was I? So, Mourning Dove also ends up with this illness. And she does not make it either. Despite all of the trying that Sand Swirl does, it's just another casualty, and that shakes Hawkstar a lot because not only has he lost his mate, but now he's lost one of his daughters. And he's not sure what to do. The only thing that ends up being good, quote unquote, in this tragedy is the fact that MoonClan's side of the prophecy seems to be showing itself. And this is the prophecy with that there will be 3 cats with the powers of the stars. Because Mourning Dove's son, Nettlekit, shows signs of having powers. Um, and that is the only real good part that is gotten out of poor Mourning Dove's loss. Or, yeah, whatever. Anyway, fast forward to, give me a moment. Literally so distracted. Anyway, fast forward to moons later, and we are back with Frostheart and Hawkstar. They, after this tragedy, lean into each other for support. And so they actually do attempt to be real mates. And moons later, Frostheart is pregnant again. And she has two little kits, two little Mollies, Hornet Kit and Wasp Kit. And life seems pretty good. But also during this time, Hawkstar is trying these kits are with Hawkstar. She has not seen her rogue mate since finding out she was pregnant. He just kind of left. No, these ones are Hawkstar's. But during this time, Hawkstar is really trying to push on the Eclipse clan border. And there have been a bunch of skirmishes. Since it's literally just a flower field, and the border can get really messy. Anyway. This is another time skip to when Wasp Kit and Hornet Kit are apprenticed. They are brought to the battlefield. And despite Frostheart asking that they not be present in the battle, Hawkstar disregards her and decides that they are more than ready. And they're his children. They'll be fine. They are not fine. and this causes a huge rift in Hawkstar and oh my god. Jesus. Very sorry. Um, where was I? Um, this causes a huge rift in their relationship. Um, yes, um, Hornet Kit and Wasp Kit do not make it out of the battle. Oops. And like I said, this causes a huge rift in their relationship. And they essentially break up over it. It's okay. Let me explain a little more. So, on Frostheart's side of things, which maybe I'll talk about her more once I actually give her a design. So, Frostheart's rogue mate, they break up after she gets pregnant, and he is never seen in the story again. They don't talk at all afterwards, mostly because Frostheart doesn't want to still seem disloyal, but also he ends up just not wanting anything to do with her. Then she becomes fake mates with Hawkstar, but she says that the father of her kits is a recently deceased warrior named Pebblefur. Then, moons later, after the passing of Hawkstar's daughter, Morning Dove, they become actual mates, and they have Wasp Kit and Hornet Kit. Once they are apprenticed, is Wasp Paw and Hornet Paw. God, their names are hard to say. There is a battle in which they do not make it from. They die in that battle. And this causes a rift in Hawkstar and Frostheart's relationship. And Hawkstar especially becomes rather cold. And any good nature to their relationship is pretty much lost at this point. Hawkstar, who hadn't brought up Ash, is she Pause? She is Ash Spring at this point. Hasn't brought up Ash Spring's parentage in a long time. He once Frostheart starts to avoid him, brings up the agreement they had that she would pretend to be his mate. Um, and though she is extremely against it at this point because he broke the one request that she had, um, he does end up getting his way because he is, of course, the leader. Um, and so they continue to pretend to be mates, and it is, of course, pretend again. Um, and in that, Frostheart ends up getting pregnant again. I need to flesh that out more in a better way than how I have it currently. I'm not gonna get into it right now. But anyway, she ends up pregnant again, and she is very much not happy about it. And she and Foxstream, who had become friends through being in the nursery at the same time, they go and they confront Hawkstar, but it means pretty much nothing because surprise, murder is happening. I probably can't say that on YouTube. Stuff is happening, and we reach the end of Hawkstar. Because Angel Wish, who I've talked about before, I really do want to go more in depth into why she does what she does. Anyway, Angel Wish has seemingly gone mad, and she is attacking the clans. And Hawkstar ends up being in her way, and she kills him. I'm not really liking... But yeah, she ends up killing him, and that is the end of Hawkstar. And that's where we get into what I talked with about Osprey Star. That was... I don't remember. I'd have to look back and see which stream that was. But that leads to Osprey Star coming into power. But lucky for Hawkstar, he does end up getting to go to StarClan, and he gets to be with his mate again, who is honestly too nice for her own good and takes him back despite him being a terrible mate to literally everyone else. And that's really all there is to talk about with Hawkstar. Besides, like, other little things, like um, his relationship with his deputy or his daughters, which I touched on a little bit, but not in any amount of depth. And I'm not going to touch on his relationship to Golden Fang in this because I do plan on redesigning Golden Fang on stream and talking about him then. Trying to think, because I'm almost done with this guy, but not entirely. So if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. No, that looks bad. I can also tell you, if you want to know more about um, any of the cats mentioned, um, like Shadow Sky or Bear Star or I don't know. Ooh, you know what I do want to talk about? I do. So, Fern Holly and Dove Water. Um, so that stream was you'd probably be here. So that's a couple streams before I talk about, or a couple streams after I talked about Osprey Star, who is Hawkstar's daughter. But anyway, this takes place before Storm Eyes, Fern Holly, Night Feather, and Dove Water are born. Because Storm Eyes is born a couple days after the incident with Angel Wish. And so these cats never overlap. Yeah, Fern, Dove, Storm, and Night do not overlap with Hawkstar in the timeline, though Night Feather is his grandson, and Stormrise is his great grandson, I believe. Yeah. Who did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about This is like, he is barely even mentioned in the main story of Echoes, but I do want to talk briefly about Hawkstar's first apprentice that he got to name as leader. And it was actually his apprentice, um, Swiftpaw. Um, he had been given Swiftpaw before being made leader, and he was lucky enough to be. Swiftpaw was lucky enough to be the first cat that Hawkstar got to name, and so he got the name Swifthawk. And Swifthawk loves his name. Oh, who's Bearstar? Bearstar is Hawkstar's dad. I know I talked a lot and said about a million different names, so I understand if you're not wholly sure on who all I just talked about. Uh-oh. And it looks like it's time to end stream. I didn't get to quite finish his redesign, but that's fine. Anyway, I will be back again on Monday, I believe. Yeah. And I will talk about Kestrel Star, our last leader to talk about. And then maybe I'll get onto the deputies, or maybe I'll talk about something else. Anyway, thank you for watching, and have a good day. Bye.